What is up, everybody? We are back at it again with more common questions that I get from people when I'm doing these consultations and when I'm just helping out, period. Let's get right into it. If you guys are new to the channel, this is all about Turo or your rental car fleet and how to make it run as smoothly as possible. I deal mostly with Turo, so that's where my specialties are. There are other platforms out there and you're more than welcome to try them out, but Turo is the one that I mess with, and honestly it's the one that's just treated us the best so far. So let's get right into it. Okay, so now that we are getting into this, if you guys are new to this and Turo, you're kind of like, what the heck? Turo is a peer-to-peer car sharing platform, and it's basically just makes it super easy to rent out your cars to others. Turo wants this to be a household name, but let's face it, it's an Airbnb for cars, so you can rent out your car to a fellow peer, to somebody else that's coming in on vacation, that's just needing a car while their car's in the shop, whatever you need. But that's basically what Turo does. And now you're able to make money off of it. And with the rental car companies being the way that they have been and the chip shortage, it's been really lucrative for quite a few hosts that are out there right now, and it could even be lucrative for you right now as well. So as I mentioned earlier, there's multiple platforms you can get on this. There is Turo, that's the one that we deal with, right? There's Get Around, there's Avail, there's Hire Car, and there's a couple others that are out there. And I will tell you that you can use any one of them. But if you do sign up with Turo, those cars that you list on their platform, you do sign an exclusivity document when you're going through your listings saying that you're going to be exclusive with Turo. If they catch you with those cars on other platforms, it is very possible that they will yank you straight off the platform, and those cars will be banned from their platform, if not your whole profile. So be extremely careful with it. I know some people do it. I'm not much for it, and honestly I wouldn't want the headache of trying to figure out which car is getting booked from where, who do I have to deliver for, who do I have to take pictures with, and then oh, it got booked over here, now I have to shut it down on this platform. So just find one and stick with it. It does really well this way, I promise you. So stick with it, whatever platform you're going to. Like I said, I stick with Turo, so find out what works best for you and stick with that platform. Now, the other thing that always comes up is, how quickly am I going to get a booking after I list my vehicle? Well, simple answer is there's no guarantee on it. If you're on the island with all these guys in Hawaii and you're just crushing it and you're booked for the whole year at ridiculously high prices, then you should see a booking instantly. If you're somewhere else, it's a little more rural and it's just not quite touristy, it may take a little bit. If you are somewhere close to an airport, honestly, I could imagine to see a booking within the first few days for sure. Turo will give your car a little bit of a push right off the bat, just to help get it noticed and get it seen, so that way you can get some trips under it. It'll go off of your trip photos, your pricing, your description. All these things factor into if your car is gonna get booked and if it's gonna get noticed. So definitely want to be on point with all that stuff. You wanna have your pictures, your description, your pricing. Me personally, what I usually do is drop the pricing to a certain percentage. Me personally, what I do is drop a percentage right off the bat, and this is just for the first few listings, first few trips, so that way it gets some good 5-star reviews and some trips under its belt. That way this car shows that it has some kind of history. So that's my route for going about it. You do what works best for you, but you should see bookings pretty shortly after you list your vehicles. Next question that I have commonly come up is, can my renter, my client, drop me off at my house or wherever I need to after I hand them the keys? Absolutely not. This cannot be done. It goes against Turo's terms of service. So you cannot do this. Now, I will tell you there is a loophole with this. And this worked out very well depending on where you're at. So we could offer delivery, but what would happen was, if you're, say, picking up a client from the airport, what you will do is go pick up that client and make sure this is all clear in the description, so that way there's nothing sketchy. But go pick up your client, and as you're driving yourself along with your renter, your client, back to your location, then you can kind of go over all the details, all the quirks, anything about that car, and basically give them that service as far as anything and everything they need to know about that car. And this is all as long as your renter is okay with this. So you can do this, and then as you get to your destination, now you say, okay, go ahead and check in on the app, and the car is now officially yours. So it's kind of a way to get around it. And Turo may hear this and be like, you know what, I don't know if we agree with that. But technically, as long as your insurance covers you, you guys should be good. Now, we got an accident or something, so. All right, now the final thing is, for this section is, do I leave my personal information in the car? Whether it be my insurance, my registration, any of that stuff that goes with the car that should stick with the car. Simple answer is yes. Terms of service tells you you must leave registration in the car. What I do is make a copy of it, black out my personal information, my home address and all that. I'll leave my name on there, but realistically, if my car is in an accident with a renter or gets pulled over, when the cop pulls up, they're gonna run the plates and they're gonna find out who the registered owner is. So the only person that needs to know it will be able to find it just with the information on the back of the car. My license plate, if the registration is in there and I do block it out, then it is what it is. Now the worst thing that happens with this is if the renter is pulled over or if it's an accident, a cop may show up and say, hey, what's going on? This registration, it's not you, this and that. There's a reservation incident card on their app, and it shows that they are covered through Liberty Mutual on that rental. So that'll kind of show like, hey, this is what's going on, and they're gonna know that it's a rental, and that is why things are blocked out. Now you are supposed to leave your own insurance in there. What I would say is definitely hide that thing, because you don't need a renter if they get in an accident giving them your personal information. I know other hosts have gotten kind of screwed up on this, and I will say taken advantage of, or whatever. They know that the claims went through their own insurance, which is all bad. But definitely keep that as hidden as possible if you're able to. Once again, some states, it all depends on how it goes, but technically the registration and insurance doesn't have to be in the car. It just has to be on the scene of an accident if there was an accident that happened. And depending on which state you're in, if they run the plates, it'll automatically show up in the DMV or MVD database that this car does have insurance, blah, blah, blah. And it'll also show that it's covered while it's on the platform, period, or while it's on a rental. So that's the biggest thing with leaving that personal stuff in there. Definitely block out your personal home address, your name. They're not really gonna get a whole lot off of that. I mean, there's so many different John Smiths out there, you know what I mean? Like it's not that big of a deal, but definitely my biggest thing is block out your home address. Make sure people can't find out where you guys are, especially if you have multiple cars. Now it's even better if you guys have an office or somewhere where you can park these, to where now you have a business address. But for right now, if you're just renting out of your house, but you're parking it down the street, I try and keep that as kind of separate as possible and try not to be that accessible. So hope this helps out. If there's anything that I'm missing so far, make sure you guys drop it in the comments. Whatever you guys need help with, let me know. I will be there for you. If you need to get a hold of me, check down in the description below. I will leave my contact stuff down there so you guys are able to get a hold of me so we can get some one-on-one time. Whatever you guys need, drop it down there. Stick around, and I will have a bunch more coming out for you. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Later, y'all.